Hey, I know you want to live greater in 2026. Who doesn't? We have Christmas just in a couple days, and then the new year starts. Wow, what an amazing year. And I'm here in our motorhome, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But today I'm going to teach you a simple and fun way on how to create an amazing 2026 and every year after that. Our family has been using this method for many years, and it actually started with my mom and my dad. We would gather around the family, me and my brothers, my mom and my dad, and have this calendar on the wall, and we would put in our big trips and other activities coming up. And so for me, it started way back when I was even younger. But this planning method has taken my family now to many parts of the world, learning new skills and other activities, and just living greater in many fantastic ways. And you will become, with this method, so focused and time rich, right? So you probably have heard the phrase, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. What planning does is it helps you to get focused on really what you want. And so when you focus on something, it's bound to happen because your energy goes towards making it happen. And an amazing life doesn't happen by chance, but it happens by choice, by your plan, by how you want it to play out. So let's get into making 2026 spectacular. Just like you start your day the night before to make it an amazing day, we're going to start with the year now for next year to make it an amazing year. So you want to first start by acknowledging and reviewing what's happened through this 2025 year, and take a minute to review what's worked, what hasn't worked, what trips you've taken, what goals and skills you have accomplished. It's so important to acknowledge the good that you've done and the goals, but also look at and learn from what's happened, right? And be able to keep living greater and become better. So to start fresh with the new year, you can clean out your spaces also. We've talked about this on several of the episodes of LivGreater podcast, as well as some of the guests that I've had on the podcast have talked about decluttering. So decluttering your spaces, decluttering your desk, decluttering your closet, delete those emails you don't need, and unscribe from those subscriptions on email that you don't need. They're just cluttering your box and your mind, and then just declutter the spaces in your home. And if you haven't started it, because it is a process of decluttering and cleaning out, it's ongoing, as many moms know, right? It's ongoing. And so you just keep doing it throughout the year. So by now, the end of the year, there's probably not a lot you have to do, but if you haven't started, that's okay. It's always good to start when you can start, right? So you can get decluttering and cleaning up your spaces to get a new, fresh start on 2026. And you also want to review different parts of your life. So different categories, such as your family relationships and other relationships, your health. How's your health doing? Your wellness, just mental wellness or whatever it could be. And then your relationship with God, your faith and your spirituality. What's your adventure and fun like? Your finances and personal growth. So you can just look at these categories and put a 1 to 10 for each category, answer honestly, and the 10 being the greatest and the 1 you need the most work. So then you take a few of those that really popped out that you know you need to work on, and that can be, those few things can be a focus. You don't want to take all of them because that could be overwhelming. You just might not you really want to narrow it down to at least probably 3 and not more, to really focus on, to improve. And so that's what you can focus on in those categories for the year coming 2026. And then after you've done your review, you've decluttered, and you've evaluated what works, what doesn't, you can now start creating an amazing 2026. Instead of living a life to keep up with the next thing, or kind of just stumbling through life, stumbling through the year, you can plan it and plan to enjoy your life. So and things that you can look forward to. So the first thing to plan is at least one large trip with your family. If you don't have a family that is around you, do one for you, right? Plan at least one big trip. And this could be a big traveling trip, a camping trip, visiting an amusement park, or whatever it is, but some big experience that you can enjoy for the year and look back on and be like, wow, I'm so glad I did that. And then you want to put this big event first on your calendar. Why? You may have heard about the simple analogy of filling the jar. So if you take the sand and put the sand in, and then you add your pebbles, and then you add your rocks aren't going to fit into that jar. So you first need to start with your big items, your rocks. And so that's your big trips. So you put those on the calendar first, and then the pebbles, and then the sand, and it all will fit. It's amazing how it works. The sand will just fill in the cracks. And we'll talk about that more as we go along. And so after you've put in your large items, your trips, we do a big family trip, and we also have, individual or a couple trips that we have. So each person will put their trips on the calendar. And this is helpful for everyone to do it, because then especially when you have teenagers, right, in the mix, people start going different directions. So you can get all these trips on the calendar and kind of help and work together. Like my daughters have done international humanitarian trips and other big trips. So we put those on the calendar and the big family trips so everybody can kind of coordinate and look forward to things together. And it just helps us all to live greater on an individual level as well as a family level. Then add some pebbles, some mini 1 to 2 day adventures. It doesn't have to be a big money thing. It can be, there's a lot of free or, fairly reasonable things that you can do around where you live. Everybody can work on figuring out what they want to do and come together as a family and decide. We're doing this planning as a team, and everybody's invested in what's going on, and it makes it fun. And there's so many things you can do for enjoying nature. Just nature itself creates amazing adventures, right? When you live greater, you're establishing better habits and progressing a little each day. So we have your larger trips, and then your mini adventures. And then the next thing to put on your calendar is to plan 4 skills that you can work on throughout the year. That's about 90 days each, right, for each skill. And you'll be able to look back and see these 4 skills that you have acquired, have gained throughout the year, and just you're living greater just a little bit at a time, right, working on these goals. So for example, this year, I wanted to learn how to make sourdough loaf of bread. I'd been using sourdough. I hadn't had success with loaves, but a lot of discard things, but I wanted to learn how to make a sourdough loaf of bread. And one of my daughters joined me, and we learned how to make sourdough bread. So it's been so awesome. Our families enjoyed it as well, eating the bread, and it's been fun. And then my next level for that, I'm just adding on to that one actually for a skill, is to do a variety of different sourdough dishes, breads, and things. And so I'm excited about that. And as a family, we use a large 3-foot by 4-foot calendar. And it's a wall calendar. And this is a monthly style calendar. And so you can easily see what's happening, and you can visually see the focus of the month, focus throughout the year, what's going on. And everyone in the family feels connected because of the common goal, as well as supporting each other for individual goals. So we can put all those on the calendar, and you can actually get a digital download of this calendar in the LivGreater shop right now for 50% off, and use the code 2026. And with this 3 by 4 foot calendar, you also will get a 2 by 3 foot calendar. Both are instant downloads, and use the code 2026 for 50% off. And so after we add to our calendar the large trips and the mini adventures and the new goals. We also add birthdays and other events and activities coming up. And you put all those things down that spark joy and want to help you live greater. And work and all the other responsibilities, that sand will fill in. You always want to put your exciting and fun stuff first, the big calendar items first, because that will ensure that you're going to live greater throughout the year. That sand will automatically fill in. So remember, if you put that sand in first, those big events most likely won't happen. So you can put in the rocks, put on things, and then that also helps you know what you can say no to, the things that will not help you in your life and that don't fit to help you live an amazing life. Plan now to make it a 2026 amazing year. And planning doesn't mean that you're locked into what you're doing and you can't be spontaneous. Our family, even on this trip, we've adjusted a little bit here and there. So at the beginning I said I'm in the camper and I explain it. So this is one of our big trips this year. We've down Florida Keys for Christmas time. All our kids have come together and it's been a lot of fun. And we have 2 more of the kids still with us, and we have adjusted some of our days to go to other places because we decided we wanted to see some other things. So, we're adjusting, but we're on the trip, right? We're making that, we planned it and it's happening. So it's super fun. But the planning gets you moving and gets you focused, and amazing things will happen when you plan it. So get it on your calendar, get those big things on your calendar first. And then at the end of 2026, this next year, with your calendar, you can easily look back and do a review and see all the amazing things you've done, all the things that you've gained, the skills and just the enjoyment you've had. And the calendar will be a quick reference for review and know how you can keep moving and progressing to live greater. Remember, you can get this calendar on the LivGreater shop or livegreater.com. And I'll also leave a link in the show notes. Use the code 2026 for 50% off right now of the digital downloads. And I wish you a Merry Christmas and an amazing 2026.